Serious out there?
Time to get started. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in agenda item 3. Valerie, would you please take the roll?
Sure. Mrs. Iser? Here. Mr. DeGrove?
Here.
Mr. Rudd?
Here.
Dr. Smith? Here. Mr. Skidmore?
Here. Agenda item 2, let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we have agenda item 5, a discussion of the building project. My understanding is Chris from Conger is prepared to provide that, but you have a hard leave time. And so does anybody have any objection for us moving agenda item 5 up to the present point so that the gentleman from Conger can address it?
So I guess kind of going through the construction project currently, we've done a lot of the land work associated out on the site out there. As far as for the gravel and the building pad, we've started graveling that, as well as the parking lot area up in here. And then the fields towards the back, we've started the seeding process back in there, as well as getting things, all the erosion control set up back in that area of the building. A lot of the sanitary and storm lines have been run as far as throughout there, and a lot of the utilities. So we're continuing through that process, and we're currently on schedule as far as for the site portion of work.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you so much. All right, Roman numeral 3A, recognition of visitors and communications. We have a presentation of new graduation requirements by Ms. Thomas.
Sorry. No.
All have your handout. I went around just to save time and gave it to you guys already. I want to just give you periodic updates of all things from the curriculum world on a regular basis. And one item that's affecting our students this year is the new graduation requirements. So I thought I'd just take a few minutes, very short minutes, to explain how they've changed this year. So our old graduation requirements have been in place since 2018. Students since 2018 have been required to get their course requirements, 22 credits, and then also take all 7 end-of-course exams and get 18 out of the 35 points on those end-of-course exams. That's what we're all kind of used to after the OGT phased out. So as this new long-term graduation requirements have come into effect, students in the classes of 21 and 22 had the opportunity to either use the old point system or slowly phase in and use the new graduation requirements until they were, in effect with this new graduating class of 2023. And then, of course, with this graduating class of 2023, this is all that they're allowed to use. So Ohio's long-term graduation requirements, and I'm hoping they say long-term, so let's hope that they're long-term so that they don't change them again for us. But students must meet requirements in all three areas, or what they are calling buckets. They have to meet their course requirements, they have to show a demonstration of competency, and then they have to have a demonstration of readiness. So course requirements, what you're looking at here is a table pulled from ODE's website. The Ohio requires students to meet 20 credits. Valley requires 22. The difference is Valley requires an extra elective and one fine arts credit. The state minimum is 20. And then this year's incoming freshman, it also needs a half credit of financial literacy before they graduate, and that's embedded in our 22 that we require. So it's not going to be an additional half credit. It's going to be embedded in here. Bucket number 2 is your demonstration of competency. So Ohio wants all students before they graduate to earn a competency score on Algebra 1 and ELA 2 of a 684 on the Ohio State test. So that's not to be confused with the proficient score of 700. That's what we're used to, the proficient score of 700 on all of those old the seven tests. Now there's 6 tests. They got rid of English Language Arts 1, so we're down to 6 tests. The proficient score is still 700, but in order to earn or to demonstrate competency, students have to earn a minimum of a 684. So when you see the Ohio report card, the percentage of students that hit proficient, they're reporting who's hitting the 700. But in order to graduate, they only have to hit the 684. If that makes sense. So if students get the Algebra 1 684, ELA 2 684, they have met their demonstration of competency. If they do not hit those scores in either of those courses, schools are required to provide remediation for students and support and allow them to retest at least once to demonstrate competency. If they are unable to demonstrate competency on those tests, there are some alternate ways that they can demonstrate that. And you can see those ways at the bottom here. They can earn credit for one college level math course or English course, obtain a remediation-free score on an ACT or SAT score or course, test, enlist in the military, or take a career experience and technical skill. And then the third bucket is the demonstration of readiness. And those are the seals that the state has said that students have to earn. So there's 12 diploma seals in all. There are 9 state-defined seals and then 3 locally defined seals. And students must earn 2 of those 12 seals. One of the seals has to be state-defined, and then the other can be state-defined, or it can be one of the locally defined seals. All seals must be attached or affixed to the diploma and noted on the transcript. So if a student earns 2, that's all that's on the transcript. If a student earns 9, then Mrs. Keating's tracking all 9 and putting those on the transcript. So that's tracked at the school level, and so you can see that can be quite cumbersome to track all of those seals that students earn. Here's what the state seals look like. So there's a plethora that students can earn. Just as an example, and why the Ohio State tests are still in play, students can earn a science seal and citizenship seal by getting a proficient score on those state tests. So for example, the science seal, they earn a 700 on the biology test, they would earn the science seal. If they earn a 700 on the American history test and the government test, they would earn the citizenship seal. There's other ways that they can earn seals. It get too far in the weeds. It's all on the website, or if you have specific questions about that, I can answer that. And then the locally defined seals, community service, student engagement, and fine performing arts. So districts can adopt their own guidelines for these local seals. Valley View has guidelines for each of those. For example, for a student at Valley View to earn a student engagement seal, they would have to participate in at least 2 extracurricular activities during the life of their student career. In order to earn a fine and performing arts seal, they would have to take 4 fine and performing arts courses to earn that seal. And then also every year students fill out graduation plans, and those plans just help them plan to meet graduation requirements and then get them thinking about what they might want to do after high school so that they figure out what classes they want to take while they're here. So really, by changing these requirements, I think Ohio just hopes to give more students the opportunity to graduate and show readiness in fields that will help them be more employable. It's a lot to track, but we're doing our best, and I wanted everybody to kind of understand the differences in the graduation plans from the old graduation plans from 2018 to what the requirements are now. So if you have any questions, like I said, there's a lot of information on ODE's website, and you can always contact me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Just real quick, how do our students, are they becoming aware that this is happening, and is it motivating to any of them to try to earn seals? Is that a thing, or do they just, and parents as well, I mean, how are we communicating this out with our families?
So during freshman orientation, they have those conversations. I know that the counselors go in and have those conversations in the language arts classes. Every year when they do the graduation plans, they go in and talk to the students about what those are. And I think at one time we had three different graduation requirements at the high school at one time. But as this has been phased in, you know, this graduation class of 2023, we've been talking with them about this since their freshman year, moving that in. And so then that, I remember Mr. Halsey did a video during COVID. I watched that with my son about the new graduation requirements. So I know that that's been put out there.
Thank you.
I have a quick question also. It would seem that, I mean, to me, the seals will be motivating. What would be involved in getting some past data? The one that's particularly interesting to me is student engagement. Because I would be interested in seeing, you know, what percent of our students would qualify for this, where there's already in place, and letting them know, hey, listen, if you get engaged, and you get engaged early, because if they get engaged early, they're more likely to stay engaged. You know, would it be too burdensome to get some data to see how this works over time?
How many students are
Yeah, just is there an effect of this? And you know, 'cause that would help us, I would think, in promoting it and getting kids to realize, hey, listen, your diploma is going to look a lot better the more these you have. And so I would be curious to see how well we can promote it, and how the only way I would think to measure that would be based off of how kids were being engaged in the past. I don't have the answer. I just have the
right.
question.
And this is the first year that we've ever had to do it. So we can track and see how many students qualify for the seal each year. So that would give us the data that we need.
We probably wouldn't have the data to be able to know who would qualify for the engagement, say, in the past couple of years. Obviously, it's probably not the best data set because COVID is a little bit.
We could go back and look and see how many students participated in, you know, 2 sports, or, you know, if we had the club data. So,
Thank you.
yeah, I could see if we could pull that.
Thanks. Roman numeral 3B, public participation. Mr. Puckett.
Good evening. My name is Thomas Puckett. I live on 450 North Main Street in Germantown. And I'm a graduate of Valley View High School in 2015, a graduate of Sinclair Community College with an honors degree in theatrical performance, as well as a graduate of the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in Los Angeles, a exclusive member of their Actors Society, and a member of the company Youth in 2020. As a working actor, performer, producer, writer, and much more, I attest the success and the accolades that I've gained through my time here in this very building. As a shy kid who was learning to be sociable and was very nervous and cautious when entering high school, it was the theater program that helped me move out of my shell and embrace the person that I wanted to become. I have so many fond memories from here, and the excitement I have for the new buildings is beyond measure. Those moments I had were created in a space that was safe for any and all of these children who needed an outlet. For kids that have trouble at home when dealing with their emotions that are so hard to understand, they need a place to express themselves. And where they weren't allowed to be themselves and not be shunned for believing or thinking a certain way, where it didn't matter what clique you were in or how popular you were, no matter shape, size, creed, religion, so on and so forth. The theater was where you could watch your friends excel, your favorite person perform, siblings opening up for the first time. It was a place you could release. The theater provided this for thousands of children throughout the years under the mantle of Miss Dawn Gunter, and I can see it thriving through Mr. Adonis Limke as well, many of which you can read within the testimonial that was shared with you. However, this is being threatened by the current plans given for the newest constructions of the schools. As someone who has traveled with the show and performed in multiple locations throughout Los Angeles, and as someone who has witnessed the growth of the program outside of Valley View, for other students who wish to indulge and express themselves through the arts, I am disappointed that this is all that is offered. To blind them and twist their imaginations of performance and mold it into a space ill-equipped for legitimate performances is troubling to think about. To attempt to stick these kids into a cafetorium was a bad choice to begin with. The gym only makes the problems arise more than starting anew, as you would need to make some architectural and innovative designs and changes to accommodate. The bar that Valley View has set within this community with their musicals and plays has only risen, and yet with a floor plan which doesn't support adequate audiences, room for costume changes, storage for lights and sounds, panels for acoustics to be drowned out, placeholders for flats and curtains, a booth for your lighting and sound designers to see the stage, will need much more work to be done. But I think you need to use this opportunity to give these kids what we couldn't have. Allow them the opportunity to showcase themselves with actual lighting rigs that haven't been there since the early 1900s. Give them a stage that is bigger than what we were stuck with all those years. We made what we could with them, and the community still sings praises of our work. Imagine what would happen if you could expand that to greater lengths. To compete with the other districts with performance spaces shown in the last meeting, and earn rewards and awards for your shows, for more audiences willing to travel out all the way and pay money for this spectacle. We sold out every show. Last year we had people standing in the back who watched 2 to 3 hour long productions on their feet for the entirety of the run. And the year before we packed the football stadium and created a night to remember. The community wants this. You, the board, and the faculty want this. But most importantly, the children want this. And to deny them that is to deny the future. That's how important the arts are for this community. You can provide. You have the opportunity of a lifetime to start anew and plant the seeds of enlightenment for your children and your children's children. This community grows bigger every year, and the reach of what their kids can do only grows beyond these rolling hills that surround this beautiful place. Imagine what the view from this valley could be if you give them what you want. Give them a space where they can tell any story they want to. Give your children the best seats in the house for a story they will never forget, and I promise you the community will stand by your side with pride. Spartan pride. It has been with us for years, and I hope you can continue it into the future. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Roman numeral 4 on our agenda, the approval of minutes. Everyone on the board's had a chance to look at the board minutes from the September 12, 2022 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? Would you please call the roll?
Yes. Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mr. DeGroat?
Yes.
Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Moving on to Roman numeral 6A, under financial reports and requests, recommend the board approve the financial statements for the month ending September 30, 2022, which is attachment number 2. in your board packet. Someone like to make a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Valerie, I think, is this our first financial statement in the last 2 months?
This is our second.
It's our second. Okay. Anything particularly remarkable from your standpoint?
No, only that Q1 is over. So, which is crazy, it goes so fast. So this wraps up Q1. Next month, I will be presenting our November 30th required 5-year forecast. And that is all.
Further discussion? Valerie, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mr. DeGroat?
Yes.
Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Roman numeral 6B, recommend the board approve the following then and now certification relative to the University of Dayton, dating back to May 2022 in the amount of 26,414. Valerie, would you care to give a brief explanation of what this is?
Do we need a motion first before we enter discussion?
I don't think we necessarily have to, but we can have that. We have a motion to approve the then and now certification.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Now discussion. Valerie?
Okay. This is an invoice that slipped through last year, that we did have the services, we do owe the money, but we did not have a POs in place for it.
We have policies in place to make sure PO's in place going forward?
We have made corrective actions this year, yes.
Great, thanks. Any other discussion? Valerie, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mr. DeGroat?
Yes.
Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Roman numeral 6C, recommend the board approve a donation from the Germantown Lions Club Foundation to the STEM instructor for the junior high material for laser printer in the amount of $500. Someone like to make a motion that we accept this donation?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Other than thank you to the Germantown Lions Club once again. Valerie, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mr. DeGroat?
Yes.
Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Roman numeral 7, under new business, subsection A, recommend the board approve the job description for lead mental health specialist. The board has copies of that job description. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Valerie, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mr. DeGroat?
Yes.
Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Roman numeral 7B, personnel, approve personnel action as recommended, attachment number 3 in your board packets. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Valerie, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mr. DeGroat?
Yes.
Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Roman numeral 8, superintendent's comments.
I've passed out to you a legislative report from Columbus, Bart Shaner, of all the bills that are in the House and the Senate for you to read through and to be aware of. I mean, they change quite often, but it's something that's kind of interesting to read. I also, I don't know if you on Facebook or Parent Square, we put a state of the building project on there, which explains a little bit about what's happening out there. I know that most of it is just people seeing dirt being moved one side to the other side, but right now they're stoning everything. The parking lots are stoned. The building pad itself is all stone, and they've got the driveway stoned, and you know, so it is coming, and it's looking really nice. And if you ever want to come out and take a look, Eric will take you around. It's amazing from the view that you see at the top, because we're what, how many feet above?
About 7.
About 70 feet above. So it's pretty high, but it's very nice. So things are happening out there. I then have also, it's called Spartan Spotlight, and this is put by Mike Racy, the AD. It's on Parent Square, And it's very interesting, tells you about what the calendar is for this week, what's happened. It explains a little bit about each sport, what's going on, who's doing what, and so forth. And it's very interesting to read. And Mike puts that out every week. So, I'd also like to say thank you to the secretaries in the building. They don't get many thank yous at all, but they do all the work. And every one of our buildings has excellent secretaries. Most of them have been there a long time, and they know more about what's in that building and going on in the building than the administrators. I'll be honest with that. They do a great job. If you ever see them, say thank you. I doubt if anybody does that. I think it's something that they work hard for, and they keep the building running. So the other thing is bus drivers. We do have a group that does our bus routing and our bus driving. But, you know, there's a job that you sit with 66 or 72 kids behind you, and you're driving a bus. They do an excellent job, and I'd like to thank them. It was a great start for the year, and they are doing a great job. Other than that, that's all I have at this time.
Roman numeral 9, board member comments. Mix up a little bit. Stephanie, can we start with you? Did I throw you off?
No, it's all right. I wanted to congratulate James Lowe. Apparently he earned his Eagle Scout. I think that's pretty impressive. I'm a former Girl Scout leader, so definitely know what that's all about, what's entailed. So that's pretty exciting. I was also grateful to be able to have some really good conversations with Greg Van Beaver, the library director here at Germantown Public Library. Seems like he's very interested in trying to help with our student achievement academics. Sorry, there's a fly over here. And also want to thank Patrick McKee for his community meetings. I know Jenny and I were the only ones at this last meeting, and I came as grandma and not board member. So, but really encourage you guys to come to those meetings. We're really trying to get community involvement, business involvement. We have so many people on Facebook and so much chatter. Where are they when we have these meetings? So please, he's doing a great job. We need to support him and get involved if we can. So if I have time to get involved, you all do too. So that's it.
I guess I'll go next. Just to parrot a lot of what the superintendent said, we really do have some great people doing a great job all over. And so if you think you're not being noticed, you are. It might not always just be mentioned. One of the highlights of my week, and it was at the Athletic Boosters Oktoberfest this last Saturday. The drama club handled the talent show from noon to 1, and I thoroughly enjoyed every one of the songs they did, even the ones who were a little shy. Got a little assistance from their friends to get on stage with them, and they all did an amazing job. And so, then poor Mr. Lemke to raise money for the drama program, let people throw water balloons at him all day in the cold. And I got my 7 throws for $5. And so, I just it was a great thing, and it's good to see our community come out and support our programs. Ben?
I just want to say I'm thankful for the great weather that we've got for the building project. It's going to make everything go much faster, and we'll be much better off with how they're doing things. The weather's great. That's all I have.
I know we talked a lot about the building project, but I just happened to be out by the site today, and it's just amazing to see from week to week how much gets done and how much change has happened, and it's not just dirt anymore, so it's really getting more interesting. I did want to say there's a lot going on this week. We have so many from the drama group here. Remember, the play is coming up this next weekend. A lot of the fall sports are coming to the end of their seasons, and there's senior nights for most of the sports in the coming week or two. So get a chance to get out and see, I know the participants would appreciate it.
Thank you. Spencer?
Yeah, echoing a lot of what everybody said, thank you again to the Germantown Lions Club for that donation. I know that we're really trying to make some inroads in our STEM area and offering that even as a special at our elementary school level. And so for the STEM instructor at the junior high to have that material, that's fantastic. It's really, really helpful. Looking forward to the play as well. And just really impressed with the way the beginning of the school year has come off. It seems like, you know, well, I'm not in the building every day, and so I'm sure it's obviously thanks to a lot of hard work, but, you know, the grounds look fantastic. The teachers that I talked to in the hallway are very pleased. I've heard nothing but great things, and they're really happy with their students, and it kind of feels like things are getting back to a little bit about the way they were pre-COVID, and so just really, it's really nice to see and to be around at sporting events and things like that. So thank you to everybody for all it is that you're doing, and thank you, Joe, for your leadership. I really appreciate it.
With that, would someone like to make a motion that we adjourn?
Motion.
Second. Any discussion? Would you please call the roll?